Hi, so I thought I'd make a video today on recovery struggles because I was thinking like what video should I make, because I really felt in the mood to make one, and I wanted to make one that like everybody could relate to, and everyone in recovery can relate to struggles, like no matter how big they are, how little they are, everyone has struggles, whether it be about body image, about triggers, about meal plans, about whatever. So then I thought, why not find out what other people's struggles are and not just do, I didn't want to just do my own in case people didn't relate to them or I didn't answer what other people wanted. So I went on Instagram and I asked people like what struggles they'd like me to offer advice about, and I got quite a lot. So this video might be quite long, but I don't really care, because I'd rather it be long and me try and answer each one as thoroughly as possible than 5 minutes long and just whiz through them, because I don't think that's helping anyone, and I might find some advice for other people with struggles they never realised they had. So yeah. So the first comment I got was off Nina's Fight on Instagram, and the reason I'm reading out people's usernames is because I think everyone who commented was pro recovery, and in case you were looking for some Instagram accounts to follow that are positive and or in the recovery mindset, and obviously they have struggles too, but you know. So the first comment was off Nina's Fight, and she said her struggles were bad body image days, lack of motivation to recover, and triggering comments or people. Okay, so the first one, bad body image days, everybody has them. I feel like whether even people without anorexia or bulimia or any type of eating disorder, I feel like everyone has bad body image, just not to the extent that like I or she or everyone who's in recovery may have. And the thing is, what people need to remember is that your mind isn't healthy. It's not, it might be malnourished, which means can't think straight. 2, you've got something in your head that no one else has. You have a chemical imbalance which alters your perception of yourself, and because of that chemical imbalance you see things differently whether you want to believe it or not. And I struggle with believing it, but it's 100% true. Expert studies, everybody said it. Like, for example, my mum doesn't have the chemical imbalance, so she may see herself as she actually is, whereas I see myself completely different than she sees me. So you've got to remember that bad body image, it may feel bad to you and it may not be right for you, but do you ever look at someone else who's a healthy weight and think, God, I hate their weight, or oh, even if they're a healthy weight? Because chances are you probably don't, and people do not do the same to you, and you will pick, you are your hardest critic. You will pick out all your flaws more than somebody else will pick yours out. So you've got to remember that you're not seeing correctly, and it's scientifically proven you're not. So lack of motivation to recover. Now, this is something I've struggled with, and I imagine a lot of people have struggled with, and things that have helped me is just to think about the future and think about what I want. Like, if you continue with your eating disorder, you are throwing away so much. You are throwing away exams, which I know are rubbish, but still. The future of jobs, the future of children is a huge one if you're a girl, because periods will stop. Your future of travelling the world, your future of whatever you may want to be, whether it a writer, an artist, a person who works in an office, a firefighter, you're throwing away all of that for an eating disorder, because you cannot do something to your full potential with an eating disorder. You've got to remember that you're missing out on so much. Like, you can't do as much, and when you have a lack of motivation to recover, you should think about everything you're missing out on and everything your best friend can do that you can't, or be just because they don't have this illness. I don't know, you can't help it, but you've got to remember that recovery brings you so much more than an eating disorder does. Sure, an eating disorder makes you lose weight, sure, but that's it. Honestly, that is it. It will never bring you confidence or happiness, because it will never be enough. It will want you to lose more and more. So the only thing it brings you is loss of weight. And why would you choose loss of weight with so much negative effects over being a healthy weight that allows you to have children, etc., do things to your full potential, and then a list of loads of things you can do, like sports, going out with friends, shopping, going out for a meal. So I think that, like, that really should help. Triggering comments / people. Right, I've dealt with some triggering people in my time, whether it be even just my friends in school. They can sometimes say things obviously without realising, like, they've never obviously tried to trigger me on purpose by saying things that are triggering. So's my mum, so's my dad, doctors. When I first went to, like, the GP, my GP said something really triggering, and I think, yeah, eating disorder uses that as a way to get in. Like, you've just got to imagine it when someone says that. Your eating disorder's poking a little hole and saying, that person's, what's the point in recovering, because that person obviously doesn't think you can, that person thinks you're fat, that person thinks this, when that person doesn't think that at all. They've just said something that in the wrong way, or it might be in the right way, but in your mind it's the wrong way. Like, just like you may say things without realising, like, you might type something on Instagram or something, and it might seem fine to you, but it might be really triggering for someone else. And I think you've just got to remember the person didn't do it on purpose, and you've just got to remember that triggers will happen, but if you reacted to a trigger every single time it happened, you will never ever recover, because the day is filled with so many triggers, so many triggering people just by the way they look, so many triggering people by the way they eat, so many triggering people by the way they say things, whether it be family members. And if it is a family member and it's consistent, then tell them, or ask someone to tell them, because I've done that before and it's really helped, because then it lets them know, oh god, shouldn't really be saying that. So I do recommend doing that. The next comment was off Brave Bambi, and she said food envy / jealousy, and trying to recognise that not everyone eats in the same way, and that's okay. So the food envy / jealousy, I think this means, like, you're jealous of what other people are eating, whether it be because you're too scared to eat it, or because it's so small and you want to eat that like a salad. But you've got to look at it in the way as, you have an eating disorder and you need to concentrate on the now, whether they're eating a big ice cream or cake, you really want that, but you're thinking, I'm too scared to eat it. That's fine, honestly, that is fine, because you can't just go from, well, if you could, it'd be amazing, but you can't just go from being completely petrified of food to eating ice cream the next day without it being a binge. You are going to face boundaries, and going to face all struggles and obstacles, and you've got to remember that, because otherwise it just wouldn't be recovery. And it's fine to feel jealous and envious of other people and how freely they eat, because it's just, you need to focus on the now, and you shouldn't compare yourself to somebody else of what they're eating. Also, if you're comparing it as because their food's so small, you need to remember that what are they getting out of eating a little salad? Honestly, some leaves, really. Because what's the point in having salads when you could be having, like, a gorgeous filled pasta dish, or a rice dish, or a risotto, or your favourite food. Say if your favourite food, spaghetti bolognese for example, or chilli, or a veggie burger, and you order that and someone else is eating like a little salad, and you think, oh crap, that's so much healthier, why didn't I do that? You need to think, like, what is the point in eating a salad? Because you're just going, when are you going to be eating it? I mean, unless you love salads, you're going to be eating it and you're going to be thinking, not as nice as this, and you're going to probably regret it. And you're also listening to your eating disorder, you need to fight it, and by eating something that you want and it's bigger than someone else's, that's fine. Also, you have an eating disorder, they don't. They don't need as much food as you do, and it's okay that you need more food. You need more food to repay your mind, and so it can fight, and you need to repair you physically, because if you're underweight, or even slightly underweight, or you may be in a healthy weight range but you are still not what you were at your beginning weight, so maybe you're like a kilo under your starting weight, you still need to repair and gain that weight, and the only way to do that is by eating enough to gain, and not eating like something small, because what is the point anyway? Okay, the next comment, I'm sorry I keep looking at my phone, I got so many comments. The next comment is from Restoring Rosie, and she said, people seeing the weight gain and thinking it's problem solved, but they can't see the inside struggles. Right, I am so happy that she commented that, because that's something that I've been struggling with so much lately, like even before I was talking to my mum about it. And right, I think people underestimate eating disorders, and they think it's all about weight, when if it was all about weight, it'd be a physical illness. It's a mental illness, and weight is a side effect, weight is a symptom. An eating disorder is disordered thinking. It's a mental illness. Mental as in your head, not it's a physical illness. So therefore you wouldn't even be losing all of that weight if it wasn't for that mindset. And also you may have been forced into recovery, you may just be eating because someone else is forcing you, and that's not you recovered, honestly. So whoever you're worried about thinking that, you need to tell them, because I told my mum and she told me she understood that I was nowhere near recovered. And it's just, you've just got to remind yourself it's a mental illness. Weight's a side effect. Some people lose weight more than others just because of their metabolism. Some people don't lose as much weight as others because their metabolism may be different, or they might not have been restricting for so long, or they may have had more binges or whatever. And you need to remember that they're no less of they're no less of like an anorexic or an disordered person or a bulimic or whatever person than you are, because they have disordered thinking, you have disordered thinking. I'd never think less of someone else I follow just because they have mental struggles and with their weight restored. I'd never ever think that, because I'd know that it's a mental illness and that they're struggling. So you've just got to remember that. Okay, I should stop looking at my phone when it's on like 12% and I've got such a bad cold. Okay, the next question was from Grace Recovering, and she put, thoughts of relapse, feeling like giving up, feeling triggered by almost everything, keep having to choose to recover, bad body image, and then she put, but it's all worth it to get your life back. And yes, that is right. So the first one, thoughts of relapse, and I feel like everyone's had thoughts of relapse. I'm not gonna lie, I've had thoughts of relapse so many times, but I just remember to myself, what's the point in relapsing, because I'm just gonna have to recover all over again. And even if you're 1% recovered, you're gonna have to redo that 1%. And as I mentioned before, why would you choose all the risks over recovery? Because recovery is filled with so much. It's filled with so many laughs, it's filled with so many friends, it's falling in love with food again. It's so much better than an eating disorder, and I know that's so hard to like comprehend, and I know that's so hard to believe, because sometimes I don't think it is, but it is, honestly. You need to remember that with relapse, it's so dangerous as well, because your body's already been through all the torment and it's going to have to go through it all again, and your body may have not be as strong enough to fight that as it was before. It may have been weakened by this, and chances are if you're not fully recovered and you're going to relapse, your body won't have enough energy to keep you sustained and keep you alive. You will have more of a chance of probably dying than you did before. And you need to talk to someone if you want to relapse, because whether it be your best friend, a friend, someone supportive on the internet, your mum, your counsellor, your dad, your dog, whoever, it's good to have someone to listen, and it's good for someone to offer you advice as well, because I think advice has helped me the most, and with other people's experiences. And you just need to remember how important recovery is compared to relapse, because it just is. You've got to ignore them thoughts, and I know it's so hard, and you need to distract yourself. And yeah, the next one was feeling like giving up, which I feel like I answered earlier with the motivation to recover. Feeling triggered, I've already answered. And keep having to choose, I've already done bad body image, and then keep having to choose recovery. Keep having to choose recovery. Yeah, that's so difficult because you may not want to choose recovery all the time. It's similar to the relapse sort of thing, and you sort of feel like it's a chore, like, oh, I've got to choose recovery, but you need to get that drill in your head. It's not such a bad thing, because, okay, think of it this way. You are eating your breakfast, you're choosing recovery over brittle bones. You're eating your lunch, you're choosing recovery over infertility. You're eating a snack, you're choosing recovery over heart failure. You've taken one bite of a pizza, you've chosen recovery over like tiredness. Think of it this way, every time you choose recovery, you've chosen it over death, and that is the biggest achievement ever. I want everyone to know that even if you've just started recovery and you're 1% through it or 0.5%, no matter how much you are through recovery, you should be so proud of yourself, because like, I'm so proud of you. And you may not feel proud of yourself, but it's such a big achievement for you to have chosen recovery over the constant thoughts. Okay, the next one is about flourishing.gen, like GEN. Right. She said comparison, seeing others eat less and feeling as though I should follow, but then realising they aren't recovering with an eating disorder. Similar to what I said before. Yeah. Coping with negative voices and trying to ignore them. The dread is weekly weighing. Feeling like I need to show physically how bad I feel to prove I'm mentally not okay is also a massive one, because through experience people only take more notice when it begins to physically show. Okay, so the first one is comparison, and I feel like this is what really kicked my eating disorder off. I probably will go into depth more in another video of how my eating disorder started, etc. Comparison. Comparison is the worst thing, I think, in recovery, because even if you're comparing yourself to someone who hasn't got an eating disorder, it's so difficult. Like, I compare myself to my friends all the time, and I will think, oh, they're so much prettier, they're so much clever, they're so much skinnier, they're so much this, they're so much that than me. And it hurts so much, but you've got to remember that you are your own person, you are not somebody else. And chances are another person's looking at you and thinking, I wish I had her smile, I wish I had her legs, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But you are, as I said earlier, you're your harshest critic. So you don't realise how amazing you are, and you're put on this earth for a reason. Like, the chances of you being born were literally like 1 in a billion. What were the chances of, like, I'm gonna go disgusting here, like the sperm make the egg, you're like making you. So just live. You need to remember that you are unique. Nobody is the same. Identical twins look the same, but they're different. They still have different characteristics, and you need to remember that. And just, why compare yourself to somebody when you are your own person? You can just be unique, because comparing makes you want to be like someone else, makes you want to follow the crowd. Do something different, like that'll make you feel confident. Like yesterday I got a nose piercing, and that made me feel different, and I didn't do it because somebody else had it. I did it because I wanted to. And it's like, you're just being different, and you're not it'll just make you realise that how amazing it is to be unique and yourself. And just comparing yourself is so difficult, I understand, and I feel like I can't answer that in the best way I can, because that's something I struggle with too, but I hope I have. Seeing others eat less and feeling as though you should follow, I've just more or less answered that. coping with negative voices and trying to ignore them. That's very difficult for me too. And I found what you have to do is distractions, and I love talking about distractions because I feel like they help so much. And distractions make your mind focus on something else, and it blocks out the voices, or even if it blocks them out just a tiny bit, like blocks them out just a little bit, it does help. And the distractions that I'd recommend are like taking up, right, these are the things that really help me, and chances are if they really help me, they probably will help some other people. Even if it's just one person, a bath helps me because it's 1 hour or 40 minutes or 15 minutes, however long, in a bathroom alone. And sure, it may make you think a bit more, but when you're pampering yourself, it kind of makes you feel like beautiful. Like that sounds so cringy, but you know what I mean. Going for a walk really helps me because I feel like fresh air, I don't know if it's because the oxygen or sciencey stuff, it just clears your mind too. Watching a movie, like a positive movie, Disney movies are really good. Watching a TV show like Gossip Girl or Bates Motel or whatever you're into, Catfish is good. Talking with someone really helps, because when I tell my mum that that the voice or the shadow, or I call mine the shadow, is really strong, my mum will talk with me and her voice will kind of block out that, and it's just so lovely. Read a book, play The Sims, play on your laptop, play on your phone, look at some positive accounts, watch YouTube videos. YouTube videos really help me. Just pamper yourself, do your makeup, do something that literally says F you to the voice, because if you're pampering yourself, the voice does not want you to feel like that. It wants you to feel shit. Honestly, I'm sorry for swearing, but it wants you to feel shit. And like, I get so angry. And by you pampering yourself, it's like you saying a big F you to the voice, like, I'm pampering myself, I'm what? I'm doing what I want, and you're basically turning around and just ignoring it. And the more you ignore it and the more you do what it doesn't want you to do, the more likely it is to just slowly go away. My camera's just gone off and I was just answering questions. That is so annoying. I'll answer them again, no worries. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was up to coping with the weekly weigh-in, and I absolutely hate weigh-in. Like, the amount of times I've cried at weigh-in is ridiculous. But you just need to remember it's just a number, because no one literally cares about weighing. I mean, no one literally cares about a number, because when you meet someone, you don't say, hi, my name is whatever, I am xx kilos. Someone doesn't meet you and go, hi, my name's Bob, I'm 63 kilos. Nobody says that, because it's personal to you, and it doesn't matter. Someone doesn't judge you off your weight. Someone judges you off your kindness, your ability to take care of others, your ability to do a certain thing. You need to remember that weight is personal to you. You don't have to share it with anyone else. It can just be between you and your team. And yeah, and also you can get blind weights if that's what you prefer, which is where you can't see like how much you weigh and somebody doesn't help you. I know that helps quite a lot of people, so that might be something to think about. Showing that you how physically bad you feel to prove you're mentally not okay. This is another major one, because what I said before, it's a mental illness and people need to learn that, and if you need to show this, then it already shows how sick you are, because you shouldn't need to go to the extent of doing that. Weight is just a side effect. It's not true, it's not real, and you need to remember that. It's just a side effect. It doesn't determine you. The thoughts in your head do. Disordered eating is what determines it. Like, I don't look at somebody else on my Instagram or in real life and think she's less of an anorexic than me because she is weight restored, even though she might be struggling mentally. I don't think that, and nobody does, so nobody will judge you, and you just should tell someone if you're struggling mentally. Recovering.snowflake said, being at a healthy weight but still having to gain because I have no period when I should have started it by now. I'm always cold, I haven't grown or hit puberty, and I'm still mentally still in starvation mode. It sucks to look at myself and see someone normal size, but no, I still have to gain. The normal size bit, you're probably not normal sized at all. It's probably just your mind tricking you, as I said earlier. The period thing, this varies with different people. Some people get their period back fairly early. Some people might get it back at a really low BMI. Some people might get it back when they're weight restored. People might get it back when they're at 18.5. People might get it back when months after the weight restored. People might never lose their period. It honestly depends, and I think that you haven't got yours because you mentioned about being cold, and one of the signs that you're recovering and you're getting to where you need to be is that you're not cold, because your body's taking the food that you are eating and putting it all to keep you alive, to keep your organs going, whereas it doesn't bother. That's why people's hair falls out. It doesn't bother putting it towards people's hair staying in or to you being warm. It just doesn't care about that, because they're not vital things. They're keeping you alive, keeping your heart beating, keeping your lungs going, keeping your liver working is more vital than that. And you need to remember that if you're feeling cold all the time, it means that you do need to gain, because it's not normal to feel like that unless you have another illness. Somebody else, just rediscovering Laura, said, bad body image days but carrying on regardless is a struggle. Yes, it is a struggle, and that is something I think I've answered in this video. Bad body image is horrible, yes, but you have got to continue, because it's like wearing, think of it this way, it's like wearing glasses. It's like every time, I think I've said this, every time you feel positive, you might see yourself in a different light, and that might be with the glasses off. But if you're feeling negative, you may see yourself worse than you are, or just in a horrible way, and that means the glasses are on. And you have chemical imbalance in your brain. What you see is not what everybody else sees. It is not normal. It is the eating disorder tricking you. It's the eating disorder literally in your face. It's lying to you. You need to remember that. It's not a friend, so you need to remember. Banana.bex said, knowing that you need to eat to be healthy, but trying to actually do it becoming a struggle. Also, family not participating in helping you recover. Okay. One of the feelings that many people have is I have the knowledge that it makes me healthy, but I don't want to do it. And I think that is a struggle, because it's kind of like you're torn, and you need to remember that by not being healthy, you will not be able to have a big list of things that I mentioned earlier, like, and more. You won't be able to do sport, you won't be able to have children, you won't be able to, like, stand up, your bones will be brittle, you will die, you will honestly die. And I know that a lot of people know that, but it doesn't click in their head. And that's just how powerful your eating disorder is. But you need to just completely go against it and just keep fighting, keep going on, because it's the right thing to do. It'll help, it's what'll beat your eating disorder if you just ignore it and you just keep going on. And I know how hard that is, but you need to remember that experts have said all these things about the health, and people have died because that's how bad health is. And that's just proof that how severe eating disorders are and how much health is important. Rasbella said, being at a healthy weight and people thinking that you're recovered. Okay, I think I've more or less mentioned, oh wait, no. Banana Bex also said, also family not participating in helping you recover. I've never had family not participate. I think I've had family that doesn't understand. And what you need to do is, if you want a certain family member to participate, you need to tell them how important it'd be if they participated, like how much it'd mean to you, how much it'd help you. Or if you don't want to do it, get someone else to ask to tell them how you feel, and just let them know about how much it'd mean to you, and give them a link to a YouTube video, give them a link to something that'd help them understand anorexia. It might be like a TED talk, which is pretty good, or it just might be an article, or it might be something you've written, like an email, a letter, a poem, a drawing, to help them understand. And I think that's the best thing, that you try and draw or just communicate how you feel. No matter how you do it, it'll be better than just them feeling sad about them not participating. Raspella said, being at a healthy weight and people thinking that you're recovered. I think I more or less answered this earlier, but you got to remember, you need to tell someone that you're struggling and that it's a mental illness. Exercise compulsion. Exercise compulsion. I can't say it's something I've dealt with too badly. I think I went through a phase of doing exercise like a significant amount. Distractions are again a really good thing to get rid of it. You need to tell someone when you feel like you need to compulsively exercise. You should do distractions, have a bath, watch a movie, even just go for a walk, because sure, it might be exercise, but even if it's just a short walk, get someone to go with you, like a family member, because they can monitor you and it'll be able to just like let you know how it'll just clear your mind, and they'll make sure you don't do over your limit. So you just need to distract and think about like positive things. And exercise, it's not going to do much, like it's exercising, what you're just going to put yourself back in your recovery again, and you're just going to tire yourself out, and you're just going to slow the recovery process, and nobody wants that for you, and you shouldn't want it for yourself, because the sooner you're recovered the better, because you can do so much more. Counting calories and not being able to go over that set amount. Okay, I can't tell someone not to count calories, because some people find it helps, some people cannot stop it. But one thing, if you count calories on an app, delete the app, whether it's MyFitnessPal, whether you Google it, just don't. And also you should get someone else to make your food, because that way you don't know the calories in it. And you need to remember that your set amount is not going to help you get recovered, because nobody else has a set amount. I mean, like, nobody else without an eating disorder has a set amount, and by having a set amount you're limiting yourself, and you're limiting the amount of life you have. Just think, with each calorie, that's more life you can have. It's like, whereas if you're in starvation mode eating under, I don't want to say anything in case I trigger people, but say if you're setting your amount, you're limiting the amount of life you can have, because the amount that you set might only be enough to get you through the next week, the next day, the next hour. And you need to remember that it's not worth it, because calories are never even right either. Like, sometimes things have more calories in than things. Most of the time most things don't have as many calories as it says, and you need to just remember that calories are not right. Calories are not an exact amount of what you should eat, because everybody is different. Okay, the next thing is that she asked is weighing food. Weighing food, ask someone else to do this, or just try just once. Even if you weigh everything you eat that day, just say, okay, this morning I'm not going to weigh my cereal, I'm not going to weigh my milk, I'm not going to like measure how much orange juice I have, I'm not going to weigh how many raisins I have. Whatever you weigh, just even if you weigh everything else that day, just try and do one little thing, and do that for a week, and then the next week try not weighing 2 things, and just do it slowly, because I feel like if you just completely stop weighing it all, you will struggle and you will begin to panic. But if you do live with someone, I'd recommend getting them to prepare your food and set it out in front of you, because although it's best for you to be in control, when you're weighing, you're not in control, your eating disorder is in control. No matter how much you like to think your eating disorder is in control, saying you can only have 40 grams, you can only have 30 grams, you can only have 20 grams, you can only have 60 grams, it's your eating disorder in control, and you need to give that. It's better giving the control to someone who wants the best for you than your eating disorder, which you may think wants the best for you, but the best for that would only be you dead, and you need to remember that. She also asked, wearing clothes that make me feel body safe instead of what I genuinely want to wear. I feel like wearing clothes that make you body safe, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing if it makes you feel more confident, but it can be a bad thing if it's stopping you from wanting to wear something that you do. Because if you see a gorgeous dress and it looks gorgeous on you, but you're like, oh, I feel a bit self-conscious revealing my legs, then you should try and compromise with yourself. Okay, you're wearing a nice dress, you don't want to show your legs, so wear the dress but wear tights. You may wear some jeans that you really like, but you're like, oh, I don't like the look of them on my legs, wear a flowy top. Just try and compromise and then slowly pull it away. You've just got to face your fears, wear something you want. I can guarantee you will get compliments, and you can always ask your mum or someone, how do I look, and ask them for their honest answer, and if they'll answer honestly, and you'll know that how you look by their answer. So I think it's good to step out your comfort zone, even if it's just 1 day a week, 1 hour a week, even if you change halfway through the day, change 10 minutes, it's good to experiment. She also asked, lying to friends about why you're off, not in school. It depends what friends you have. With mine, I told them just because I didn't feel, just because they were such a big part of my life, like they were really close, and I didn't feel like it was fair, and that's totally fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. It's your choice who you want to tell. You can lie if you want, and you could just say, if you don't want to lie but you don't want to tell them, you can say medical reasons, I've got an illness, because that's not language you have. But it might be best to tell them, depending on how close they are and if they're trustworthy, because you don't have to tell anyone else. You can just tell them, and you'll know that it's sort of safe with them, and chances are you, as I said before, if they know they're on your team, they're on your army, and the more people on your army, the more it beats the enemy. And yeah, so I think that it depends how close you are to them and how much you want to trust them, even if you just tell your closest friend and not all of them. And then finally, Recovering Michelle said, being torn between your eating disorder and being healthy, eating with people and meal plans. Okay, the first one, being torn between your eating disorder and being healthy, is something I've struggled with. And as I said earlier, even if this helps you, make a list of what you have with your eating disorder, so losing weight, which in turn might make you feel better. But you've got to remember when you're making that list, like, you will remember your eating disorder is something so much better than it actually was. You might remember it as making you confident when you obviously weren't confident, because you kept losing and losing and losing. You never got to a set point that you were happy with. And make a list of all the things that you've got that when you're healthy or recovered, just like friends, sports, going on holiday, traveling the world, having children. There's so many things, and you honestly need to remember that, because that'll keep you going. Because why go backwards when you're just always going to have to go forwards? If not now, when? And you need to remember that. And then she asked, eating with people, right, this is something I also struggle with, and you should start off with people, you should make a list with people who you're uncomfortable eating with, but like you are more comfortable with eating in them than other people, if that makes sense. You might be more comfortable with eating in front of your cousins than your friends, or your friends more than extended family. And you should slowly start to do that. Like maybe you take an apple, maybe you take your snack, not a full meal, maybe you just take something little and eat it in front of them, because they will not judge you, because they'll be eating, and the focus won't be on you. And you can also tell them how nervous you are, and they'll understand, because they will not make a big deal out of it if you don't want them to, and you've got to tell them that. And chances are they'll be really proud of you. And yeah, so I'd say do it in small steps if it's really something that you struggle with, like I did. And you can also try maybe eat in front of people you're uncomfortable with someone you're comfortable with, so like your mum being with you, that might help, or someone, or your dad if you're comfortable in front of eating with him. So I think that helps. And then finally she asked meal plans. She just put struggle with meal plans. Right, meal plans, they are not what you have to eat. You don't always have to stick to them, and this is something I'm sounding hypocritical with, because I know my mum will probably watch this and she'll be like, oh, you never stick with your, like, you never change to your meal plan, you never add anything extra in. But your meal plan's only a rough guide. It's not like what you have to eat, and your meal plan's only what's good for you, what a dietitian thinks is good for you. And if your meal plan isn't working, like if you're not gaining weight, if you're losing weight, then it's not working, and you need to tell the person that this meal plan isn't working, you've done this a bit wrong. Or if you're vegan and it's vegetarian, or you're vegetarian and it's for like it's got like lamb on it, you need to tell someone that, because it's not fair on you having to follow a meal plan that isn't right for you. I feel like meal plans can be so rigid, and you don't have to be like that. They're just a guide to kind of offer you confidence, and an expert wouldn't come up with a meal plan if they knew that it wasn't right for you. They've got your best interest at heart, because that's their job. You've got to remember that meal plans are a good thing, but you shouldn't swear to them, because they're not always the best thing. So yeah, I think that's all the questions actually. So I think this video was super duper long, but I hope I helped people, and I hoped that if you watched this all the way through, I'm so thankful and thank you. And if anyone needs any advice, then you can comment it, or ask me on Instagram, or you can ask anonymously on Tumblr or Ask FM, which I'll all link below. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!